They say money can't buy happiness, but it sure can buy some monumental blunders. From over-the-top failed projects to majorly bad decisions, these stories will seriously make you wonder if being rich means being smart. We're going to explore the most expensive billion-dollar mistakes ever made. This isn't your average joyride. It's a white-knuckle experience that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about wealth and success. Number 10. John Antioco. Back in 1997, Blockbuster was ruling the movie rental game with thousands of stores worldwide and millions rolling in from VHS tapes and DVDs. That's when John Antioco stepped in as the big boss. But here's the deal. Antioco faced a boatload of challenges. The competition was fierce, with newcomers like Hollywood Video and Movie Gallery muscling in on the movie rental scene. On top of that, the internet was starting to shake things up, changing how people got their entertainment fix. So what did Antioco do? He had this grand idea to launch Blockbuster.com, a fancy website where you could order movies online and get them delivered by mail. Sounds convenient, right? Well, not so fast. The service was expensive, slow as molasses, and had a pitiful selection. People still preferred the good old brick-and-mortar stores, where they could pick their flicks right then and there. Meanwhile, there was this scrappy startup called Netflix making waves. Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph founded it in '97, but they faced more obstacles than a marathon runner: high costs, low profits, sluggish growth, and investors giving them the side eye. You name it, they dealt with it. Here's where it gets interesting. Netflix realized it needed a lifeline, so Hastings and Randolph went all in and approached Blockbuster with a ballsy proposal. They offered to sell Netflix to Blockbuster for a cool $50 million and take over their online business. But hold your horses, cause Blockbuster's response? They straight up laughed in their faces. They thought Netflix was a total joke, some niche thing that wouldn't catch on with the masses. Well, guess what? Antioco's arrogance and lack of foresight came back to bite him. By 2010, Blockbuster had hit rock bottom. Filing for bankruptcy protection, shutting down tons of stores, and losing billions. Nowadays, there's only one Blockbuster store left in the whole wide world. A little franchise tucked away in Bend, Oregon. It's more of a tourist attraction now, like a time capsule of nostalgia. But wait for it. Netflix had the last laugh. They became a giant in the entertainment industry, with a mind-blowing 200 million subscribers worldwide. They churn out award-winning original content. They've got their fingers in gaming and podcasts. They're basically taking over the world. So, there you have it, my friends. A cautionary tale of one CEO's hubris and another company's rise to stardom. Remember, in this fast-paced world, it pays to stay humble and keep an eye on those underdogs. Number 9. Bill Hwang, the mastermind behind Archegos Capital Management, went from hero to zero real quick when he lost $20 billion in just 10 days. This all happened in 2021. So what went wrong? Well, Hwang had this brilliant idea of putting all his eggs in a few baskets. He went all in on a handful of stocks, thinking they'd keep soaring to the moon. But guess what? Those stocks took a nosedive, and Archegos had to sell them off at a huge loss. Now, one of the reasons for this disaster was Hwang's love for playing with borrowed money. Yep, he liked to use leverage, which basically means he borrowed a ton of cash to pump into his investments. Risky move, my friends. He was basically betting the farm on those stocks continuing to rise. Spoiler alert, they didn't. To make matters worse, Hwang put all his chips on just a few stocks. Talk about putting all your marbles in one bag. When those stocks took a hit, it was like a punch in the gut for his entire investment portfolio. Major setback, my friends. And you know what? Hwang even ignored warnings from his own employees, like he was the king of the world or something. He kept pouring money into those declining stocks, thinking he could turn the tide. Well, we all know how that turned out. In the end, Hwang's investment strategy was a massive, costly mistake. Billions of dollars down the drain, and it's doubtful he'll ever bounce back from that blow. Lesson learned, people. No matter how successful you are, you gotta diversify your investments and keep an eye on those pesky risks that come with them. So remember, Never underestimate the power of doing your homework before diving into any investment. Number 8. Larry Ellison. Back in 2010, Larry Ellison, the big shot behind Oracle, decided to sell a massive chunk of his company for a whopping $9.3 billion. He wanted to spread out his investments and not rely so heavily on Oracle. Smart move, right? Well, not exactly. Here's the lowdown. Oracle's stock price took a nosedive after Larry sold those shares. Talk about bad timing. He lost billions of dollars on that move. Oof. Now, there are a couple of reasons why Oracle's stock went down the drain. First off, they had some fierce competition. Big players like Microsoft and Salesforce were breathing down their necks, making it tough for Oracle to keep up. Plus, folks were griping about Oracle's sky-high prices and their software being more confusing than a Rubik's Cube. Customers weren't exactly lining up to buy their stuff, and that hit Oracle's bottom line hard. But wait, there's more. Larry also sold his shares when the stock market was already on a downward slide. Talk about kicking yourself while you're down. So Larry's decision to sell that stake in Oracle? Yeah, it turned out to be a major blunder. He lost a boatload of cash, and it took him years to recover from that financial blow. Number 7. Mark Zuckerberg. Back in 2018, the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, went all Hulk on Zuckerberg, suing him for playing fast and loose with user privacy. The FTC claimed that Facebook was scooping up user data without permission and using it to target them with ads. And as if that wasn't enough, enter stage left, Cambridge Analytica. These guys got their paws on millions of Facebook users' personal data without asking nicely. On top of that, Facebook got hacked not just once, but multiple times. Yikes! Needless to say, people weren't too thrilled about all this. They were shouting from the rooftops, demanding that Facebook face some serious regulations. The public was mad as hornets. So what happened next? Well, Zuckerberg and Facebook got smacked with a massive $5 billion fine. Ouch, that hurts the bank account. They were also forced to change their privacy practices. As if that weren't enough, Zuckerberg himself had to cough up $10 million from his own pocket. Double ouch. But the damage didn't stop there. The lawsuit tarnished Facebook's rep big time. Users were ticked off and vowed to delete their Facebook accounts faster than you can say, cat videos. People saw Facebook as shady and willing to put profits before privacy. That led to a drop in their user base and a hit to their ad revenue. Not a great look for a social media giant, huh? Now let's get real. Facebook is still pretty popular, but it's got a big old bullseye on its back. Regulators are keeping a close eye on them, and users are keeping their pitchforks handy, concerned about their privacy, and ready to hop off anytime. Number 6. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs co-founded Apple Computer back in 1976 and turned it into an absolute juggernaut. But hold on to your iPhones, because his path to success had more twists and turns than a thrill ride. First off, Jobs had a bit of a reputation for being a tough cookie to work with. He had sky-high standards and would give the boot to anyone who didn't measure up. Naturally, this made him a magnet for lawsuits left and right. Legal battles galore. But wait, there's more. Jobs got accused of snatching ideas from other companies and using some shady business tactics. That's right, he was like a ninja of innovation, but sometimes he danced a bit too close to the edge. Lawsuits were raining down on him from competitors and angry consumers. Lawsuits everywhere. Now let's fast forward a bit. In the epic showdown of 1985, Jobs got booted out of Apple after a power struggle with the bigwigs on the board, but don't count him out just yet. He dusted himself off and founded a new company called Next. Their focus? Computers for the brainiacs and business folks. Smart move, Jobs. But hold on to your Apple pencils, because the story ain't over. In 1997, Apple was on the struggle bus, teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. The board had a light bulb moment and decided to buy Next for a cool $429 million. Boom! Jobs was back in the Apple groove, this time as the big kahuna, the CEO. But life just had to throw one more curveball at our man Jobs. In 2003, he got hit with a gut punch, pancreatic cancer. He fought that battle like a champ, going through surgeries and treatments. But the nasty thing came back in 2009. And sadly, Jobs passed away in 2011 at the age of 56. Rest in peace, tech legend. Despite all the chaos and legal drama, Steve Jobs will forever be remembered as one of the most brilliant entrepreneurs in history. His legacy lives on, folks, and we'll be toasting to his game-changing inventions for years to come. Cheers to you, Mr. Jobs. Number 5, Warren Buffett. Let's talk about the legend of investing and his adventurous investment in Citigroup back in 2008. Buffett, the money maestro, decided to throw a whopping $5 billion at Citigroup, one of the biggest players in the financial world. It was like a high-stakes poker game, and boy, did things get interesting. But hold on to your piggy banks, because this investment turned out to be no smooth sail. Citigroup was knee-deep in the muddy waters of subprime lending, a fancy term for giving loans to folks with sketchy credit histories. And guess what? That kind of lending was like playing with fire during the financial crisis. Boom. The stock price took a free fall, and Buffett's pockets felt the burn. Citigroup was a colossus in the financial world. It was tough for them to keep up with the ever-changing markets and manage all that risk. But wait, there's more. Even the mighty Buffett made some missteps. He went all in on Citigroup just as the stock market was going down the drain. Talk about timing. Warren Buffett's adventure with Citigroup turned out to be an expensive lesson. It's a reminder that even the gurus of investing can sometimes stumble and fall. Number 4, Jeff Bezos. Talk about one of the most expensive divorces in history. The split between Jeff Bezos, the founder and CEO of Amazon, and his wife Mackenzie Bezos left everyone in astonishment. So, on a fateful day in January 2019, Jeff and Mackenzie shocked the world by announcing their divorce on good old Twitter. After 25 years of marriage and 4 kids, they decided to call it quits. They claimed it was the result of loving exploration and trial separation, and promised to remain friends and business partners. Talk about an amicable breakup, right? So we all thought, folks, until things took a scandalous turn. The National Enquirer spilled the beans on Jeff Bezos' affair with former TV anchor Lauren Sanchez. They even had the audacity to publish steamy texts and pics that Jeff sent to his ladylove. Jeff Bezos wasn't going down without a fight, though. He accused the Enquirer of trying to play dirty by blackmailing him with explicit selfies. It was like a real-life soap opera unfolding before our eyes. Fast forward to April 2019, and the divorce was a done deal. Mackenzie Bezos walked away with a jaw-dropping 4% stake in Amazon, worth a mind-boggling $35.6 billion. Yep, you heard that right. She instantly became one of the richest women on the planet, while Jeff Bezos held on to his title as the richest man, with a net worth that can make your head spin, over $150 billion. Now, what's remarkable about this divorce is not just the insane amount of money involved, but also how they handled it all. Unlike your typical Hollywood-style battleground, Jeff and Mackenzie managed to wrap things up quickly and peacefully. They put their kids first, agreed to co-parent, and even pledged to continue their philanthropic endeavors together. A divorce with a sprinkle of maturity. Life is full of surprises, isn't it? Number 3, the Shark Tank investors. All right, folks, gather around for an epic tale of triumph and missed opportunities. Get ready for the incredible story of Jamie Siminoff, the genius behind Ring Doorbell, and his bumpy ride on Shark Tank. Get ready for some jaw-dropping moments. Jamie Siminoff, sitting in his garage in sunny Los Angeles, dreaming of a doorbell that could save him from getting up off his workbench every time someone showed up at his gate. So he cooked up his invention and called it Doorbot. Cool name, right? Maybe not. In 2012, Jamie decided to take his brainchild to Kickstarter, the ultimate crowdfunding platform. And boy, did people love it. Over 1,000 backers rallied behind Jamie's genius idea, pouring in a whopping $300,000. It was time to kick things into high gear and start manufacturing those doorbells. But Jamie wasn't done yet. Oh no. In 2013, he strutted his stuff on Shark Tank, seeking investment and some serious fame for his business. He went in asking for $700,000 in exchange for a 10% stake, valuing his company at $7 million. The sharks licked their lips in anticipation, ready to sink their teeth into this juicy opportunity. Well, let's just say things didn't exactly go as planned. The sharks, known for their no-nonsense attitudes, tore Jamie's pitch to shreds. They questioned his ability to compete with the big players, his customer service skills, and even his marketing strategy. Yikes. The sharks weren't holding back. One by one, they dropped out like flies. Kevin O'Leary straight up called Jamie's product a piece of crap. Mark Cuban waved his billionaire hand and said, "I'm out." Robert Herjavec liked the product, but not the valuation, and Damon John just wasn't feeling the business. It was a unanimous no from the sharks. Jamie left the tank with a heavy heart and an empty pocket. But did he let that stop him? Nope. He dusted himself off, made some improvements, rebranded his baby as Ring, and gathered investments from other smart folks. Plus, he even got the thumbs up from celebs like Richard Branson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kim Kardashian, as customer reviews poured in, boasting about how Ring doorbell saved them from burglaries and package theft. Jamie's business skyrocketed, and guess who came knocking on his door? None other than Amazon, the e-commerce behemoth. In 2018, they snatched up Ring for a jaw-dropping $1 billion. Talk about hitting the jackpot. Jamie became a billionaire, ruling the smart home kingdom with his Ring empire. But the story doesn't end there, friends. In a twist of fate, Jamie returned to Shark Tank as a guest shark in 2018, sharing his epic journey and offering advice to budding entrepreneurs. The sharks, realizing their massive blunder, admitted that passing on Ring doorbell was the biggest miss in Shark Tank history. Oops! And that, my friends, is the tale of Jamie Siminoff, the underdog who turned rejection into a billion-dollar success story. Remember, even when life gives you a big no, you can always turn it into a heck yes. Number 2. Bernie Madoff. So, let's talk about the great Bernie Madoff, the self-proclaimed Wall Street legend. This man apparently thought it'd be a swell idea to start his own investment firm way back in 1960 with only $5,000 from his odd jobs. What a generous sum, right? According to the Madoff myth, he went on to become the chairman of the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. Wow, such an impressive resume. People believed he was a real hotshot, a money manager extraordinaire, who could magically conjure up steady and mind-blowing returns for his clients. But here's the kicker. Bernie was secretly running a gigantic Ponzi scheme. Yup, the old rob Peter to pay Paul scheme that had everyone fooled. From celebrities and charities to banks and hedge funds. In a Ponzi scheme, the trickster pays off old investors with fresh cash from new investors instead of actually making legit profits. It's like a never-ending juggling act that crashes down when the cash well dries up or too many folks want their money back. Here's the real scoop. Bernie didn't actually invest a single dime from his clients. Nope. He just stashed the money in a bank account and used it to pay off the old-timers cashing out, or to fund his lavish lifestyle and family businesses. To keep the game going strong, he built a network of loyal pals and feeder funds who brought in new investors in exchange for juicy commissions or fees. This Ponzi party raged on for decades, accumulating a whopping $65 billion on paper. But like all good things, it had to come crashing down. In 2008, when the global financial crisis hit, investors started panicking and withdrawing their moolah from Bernie's fund. And guess what? Bernie couldn't keep up with the withdrawals. The cash flow dried up, and the house of cards tumbled down. It all came to a head when Bernie spilled the beans to his sons, admitting that his whole business was just one big, fat lie. He'd lost everything. His sons weren't too thrilled about being part of the scam, and promptly reported dear old dad to the authorities. On December 11, 2008, Bernie was arrested, and the gig was up. The Madoff investment scandal left thousands of investors in ruins, losing their hard-earned savings, homes, businesses, and even charities. It was a real tragedy, with some folks even taking their own lives due to the devastating losses. In the end, Bernie faced the music and pleaded guilty to a whopping 11 federal felonies, confessing to running the grandest Ponzi scheme of them all. He got slammed with the maximum sentence of 150 years in the slammer. And so, Bernie spent the rest of his days behind bars, eventually passing away at the ripe age of 82 on April 14, 2021. Number 1. Ronald Wayne. It's 1976, and Apple is just getting off the ground. Ronald Wayne, along with Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, creates a company that would redefine the tech industry. Wayne had a 10% stake in Apple, a golden opportunity that could have made him a billionaire today. But unfortunately, he decided to part ways with his shares for a mere $800. Wow. Now, let's talk about Wayne's experience working alongside the legendary Steve Jobs. While Jobs was a visionary, he could be quite a challenging individual to work with. Wayne, being a hardware engineer, found himself at odds with Jobs' relentless pursuit of perfection and his unwavering focus on the business side of Apple. It became increasingly apparent that their visions didn't align, and Wayne felt it was best for him to step away. However, it's important to note that Wayne had a deep appreciation for Apple's products and the incredible potential they held. So, what exactly led Ronald Wayne to sell his shares? Well, His departure from Apple was a result of a combination of factors. Firstly, Wayne had concerns about the company's financial stability in those early days. Additionally, the pressure of being part of such a groundbreaking venture may have weighed heavily on him. Ultimately, these doubts and personal considerations drove him to sell his shares back to Jobs and Wozniak for $800. Looking back, Ronald Wayne's decision to sell his Apple shares is undoubtedly one of the most regrettable moves in the business world. If he had held onto his stake, it would be worth over $100 billion today. Despite the immense fortune he missed out on, Wayne maintains that he made the right decision for himself at the time. Wayne has also said that he does not regret his decision. So, what can we learn from Ronald Wayne's story? While money may not be the primary focus of every endeavor, it is essential to thoroughly assess opportunities before making life-altering choices. And there you have it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. What do you think of Ronald Wayne's decision to sell his Apple shares? Do you think he regrets it? Share your thoughts in the comment below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.